The fundamental attribution error, or FAE, is a cornerstone concept in social psychology, offering a powerful lens through which to examine a pervasive and often damaging cognitive bias. It describes our tendency to attribute the actions of others to their character or disposition, while simultaneously underestimating the profound influence of external situational factors. While we readily find excuses for our own shortcomings, we are quick to assume that the flaws and mistakes of others are a reflection of their inherent nature. A logical shortcut that frequently leads to flawed judgments and a lack of empathy. Consider a common scenario. A driver aggressively cuts you off in traffic. Our immediate visceral reaction is to assign a negative dispositional label to this individual. We might think, what a selfish, rude person, or they must be a terrible driver. What we fail to consider in that moment is the complex web of situational factors that might be at play. Perhaps the driver is rushing to the hospital, has just received terrible news, or is simply unfamiliar with the road and made a mistake. Our cognitive default, however, is to ignore this external context and instead form a judgment about their character. This is the essence of the FAE. We see the person, but not the circumstances that shape their behavior. This bias is not merely a harmless mental quirk. It has significant real-world implications. In professional settings, a manager might interpret an employee's missed deadline as a sign of laziness or a poor work ethic, overlooking the fact that the employee was given an unrealistic workload or lacked the necessary resources. In personal relationships, a partner might attribute a friend's irritability to them being a grumpy person, instead of considering that they are stressed from a difficult week. By consistently committing the FAE, we construct a world populated by heroes and villains, competent and incompetent individuals, when the reality is far from more nuanced and context dependent. The reasons for the FAE are rooted in cognitive convenience and the salience of information. When we observe someone, their actions are the most prominent piece of data available to us. The situational factors influencing them are often invisible or require greater cognitive effort to investigate and understand. It is simply easier to say that person is clumsy than to pause and consider the slippery floor, the poor lighting, or the distraction that caused them to fall. This mental shortcut, while efficient, comes at the cost of accuracy and compassion. Recognizing the fundamental attribution error is the first step towards mitigating its effects. It encourages us to adopt a more balanced perspective, one that actively seeks to understand the why behind an action rather than simply labeling the person who committed it. By pausing to ask, what might be happening here that I don't see, we can move beyond our initial judgments and foster a more empathetic and just view of the world and the people within it. Thank you very much for your time.